Hello, welcome to our quick lecture on the Enteropluri. For the Enteropluri, this is a diagnostic multitest that's used for identification of another typo, of gram-negative enteric bacteria. These bacteria are those that are found in the gastrointestinal tract and are often associated diagnostically with urinary tract infections. Although they can cause infections in other areas, that's just one of the common types of infections that this type of test is used for. The results for a Enteropluri test actually come out as a 5-digit code, and we use this numerical value to look it up in a book and determine the name of the organism. So here's what an Enteropluri looks like. It used to be called an enterotube. It's now called an Enteropluri. But the card looks basically the same, just the numbers were a little different. And what we have here is all of these multi-tests. So at the top, this row of colors up here is what these tests look like if everything is negative. And at the bottom, this is what every test looks like if every test is positive. And so we're really just looking for a color change. If the color of the tube in the center is the same as the color above, that test would be negative. And if it's the color as the bottom, then it'd be positive. Every time we have a positive result, we circle the number underneath that test. If the test is negative, we cross that number out and it's considered a 0. So as I go through each of these tests, we're going to circle the numbers that are positive, and then we'll add up each of these individual sections. You can see how they've been sectioned off by these arrows, and we'll come up with this 5-digit code. So if I look up my enterotube here, yellow in the glucose test is indicated as positive, so I've circled that. Gas production would be a separation between the agar and a wax coating on the top of it. We are unable to see that in this picture, so we're just going to leave that as negative for now. The lysine and ornithine test both will give a purple color if they are positive, and they both are, so we're going to go ahead and circle lysine here and ornithine here. H2S is a black precipitate that would show up in this tube. We don't really see that here, so that'll be negative. Indole is always initially recorded as negative because it requires a reagent, and we won't be adding that. Now we have all of these sugar tests here. There are 4 of them. All 4 of them are yellow, which is positive for fermentation of those sugars. So I'm going to circle all of these tests here as positive. Again, the VP test is another one that would require a reagent, so we're going to leave that as negative for now. And dolichol phenylalanine would be yellow if positive or dark brownish black if positive for phenylalanine. And neither one of those are occurring. This is still a little bit green like we have up here. So dolichol and phenylalanine are negative. Urea has not turned bright pink. It's still this kind of fleshy like color, so it is also negative. But our citrate test has turned a bright blue, is no longer green, but now a bright blue. And so our citrate is positive. We come back to the beginning and we now add up our groups. So 4 plus 0 plus 1 is 5. 4 plus 0 plus 0 is 4. See, this is 7, 4, and 1. We would now look up this 5-digit code in the Enteropluri book or Enterotube book and identify the microorganism. Unfortunately, I do not have a copy of the book here in the PowerPoint slide. It's in the lab, and so I'm unable to look this up for you right now. Here's another tube. We'll just, again, go through this really quickly. We are positive here in the glucose test, so we'll circle that. Gas we cannot tell, so we'll leave it. Now this time our ornithine and lysine are negative, so we're going to cross those off. And we do not have a black precipitate here, and indole we're leaving as negative because we're not adding the reagent. We can look along our 4 sugars here, and all 4 of these sugars look to be negative, so we'll cross all of these off. And we don't run the VP at first. We're not adding any reagent. Here, it did not turn yellow, but it's not green anymore. We take a look here. It's this kind of darkish brown. So this test, although negative for dolichol, is positive for phenylalanine. You can see the urea test turned a nice bright pink. So that is also positive. But the citrate test this time did not, and that is negative. So we're looking at 4, 0, 0, 0, 6. And we again would look up this 5-digit code in the Enterotube book, and that would give us an idea of what organism this might be. The Enterotube test is a diagnostic test. Again, it is used to identify gram-negative enteric bacteria. Good luck on the exam.